Whoa. All right. Hello, everybody out there in TV land. Welcome to Conservatish episode 61. My name is Peter Feliciano, and I am on a swivel chair, and I just fell back, and I'm concerned about falling back. This is not a very... Okay. I'm not very professional, as you can tell. Welcome. You can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. Support or follow me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. Yeah, our guest today is POMI.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. The sun is shining.
It's gorgeous today.
Good fucking day. Wait, can I swear?
I've only been awake for like 4 minutes though, so I'm a little not antisocial, but just not very social at the moment. So I'm trying to pump as much of this espresso into my body as possible. I don't know if it's gonna work though.
We're waking
I
up.
may be beyond help.
It's okay. I could do all the talking.
Yes, please.
Talk for a couple hours.
Yeah. So our guest. One thing about the cords, when you pull them too much, they go.
Oh,
So-
session. Okay.
Yeah, just be careful with it. Anyway. So, you are a rapper.
Yes, sir.
You are, how old are you?
I'm 18.
18. All right. And you have blondish hair.
Fuck yeah. I just bleached it the other day.
This-
I was in a mood. So here's how my hair goes.
Please
If I'm-
tell us how your hair goes.
Look.
Should we be
What
taking
am I-
notes, motherfucker?
This is some therapy material right here. If you're in a bad mood, you go to fucking Walgreens, you go to Sally's Beauty, whatever you got in your city,
Don't tell people to go to Sally's Beauty.
and and you go and you pick out a color. You could even like close your eyes and just grab one, and you go into your bathroom and you throw it all in your hair.
See, no, this is the hubris.
And then you
of
end up like
people
this
with
guy.
hair. This is what I'm saying. This is rude now because I can't do anything with this. I look like I have a splotch of purple paint on top of my head. I used to have a mohawk. Did you know that?
That's badass.
It was badass for like 2 weeks. I had it for like 2 years, and I was already balding at the top. So I would, especially during the latter times, it would be really light up front, and then in the back it would like a rat tail, like super thick, like a forest. And so what would happen is when I didn't gel it up because I was too lazy, it would just like lean over like an orca in captivity. It was just it was the saddest thing. It was like Pete is bald. Like it was like a fucking billboard that Pete is bald. I just want to make sure we're recording fine.
Back in like
Right out here.
when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, like I had this like super long like emo hair, like that was the look I was rocking.
Sure.
And I went to Thanksgiving, and at Thanksgiving, like we go to my grandma's house, everybody sits on big picnic tables, and I had taken like half a bottle of mousse and stuck all my hair up into this like foot high mohawk.
Okay.
And showed up at my grandma's house like that.
Were you listening to like emo bands at the time?
Yes.
How many years of therapy did it take to get over that, or was that?
Oh, I'm still not over it.
What are you listening to Thursday? You piece of shit! How fucking dare you come into my? This is my house, you motherfucker! Don't bring that fucking garbage in.
I've upgraded from emo rock to emo rap. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. You know.
God damn it!
I get in my feelings,
thank you everybody
man.
for listening. We're gonna stop this now. So, all right. So, what is the benefit you find from goddamn emo? Doesn't a piece of it feel a little like, I know the lyrics can be very like emotionally expressive, but at the same time, doesn't a piece of it feel like, this is corny?
Yeah, it's super corny. But I'm a super corny person. I'm a cheesy, corny person. Like somebody was just talking about.
I can
like,
see that. I could. All right. That's
somebody was just talking about dates the other day, and like, so this is an interesting topic, and they were like, yeah, like I want to be like super unique with my date, and I'm like, you know, like if I'm going on a date with somebody, like I need the most cheesy Disney movie corny shit possible. Like that's what I'm into.
Okay, so what's an example? What's a corny date you've been on?
Like,
Or is that more of an ideal than it has
it's
necessarily?
probably more of an ideal.
All right.
Because I get there and then the job just gets done and I leave and then I'm like, fuck.
I mean, the job gets done.
I don't know, why do you go on dates, Peter? I know why I go on dates.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to the small world. Oh, you're sucking my dick. Okay, well then there you go. I would get head in into small world.
I would definitely
That
get
would be
head in
really
the small world.
because it's dark and it's kind of like
What about like
it's,
Pirates
it's
of the
loud.
Caribbean?
That would be
Like have
weird
other
though.
people in the ship?
That would be weird though. No. Okay, the other people in the ship don't matter because you just sit in the back. You know, we've all gotten some weird head from time to time, and as long as you sit in the back and she's quiet and you're quiet and everyone's just like, oh yeah, there's look, Johnny Depp, like, you know, like you're cool. But that might be weird because there's a dog nearby and the water's real smelly and the fucking you know, and it's kind of. I think there's other ships behind you. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's probably other ships behind you, and it's a small world. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Anthony Cumia said this hilarious. He was because you know Anthony Cumia is this radio host, and he was talking about funny, like they were. I don't even remember the topic, but he said, yeah, you know what It's a Small World was originally called. Look at all these spicks and chinks. I love being an asshole. Anyway, yeah. So thank you very much for coming on the show. You and I know each other from various parts, but mostly, and especially we were talking about this, because Pacifica is the smallest town that's near a big city in the world. It's the weirdest. This is the weirdest town. I've lived here now for 2 years, I think officially. Sometime at the end of this month, it'd be 2 years. And I love it. It's beautiful. The fact that you can go to Taco Bell on the beach is wonderful.
Shouldn't be Taco Bell. It should be another place.
It should absolutely, but you can, and there's majesty in that. But there's also it's very beautiful, but it's also very small. I think part of the reason why it's small is because in San Francisco, so many people don't have vehicles that they don't come down, even though we're right next to San Francisco.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of sequestered off. You know, there's like one bus, you know, in and out. Yeah, it's a strange. It's got just enough Half Moon Bay to not be San Francisco, and just enough San Francisco to not be Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, Pacifica's a really weird place, especially like. Well, I was born in the Sunset on 37th and Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
Right by the beach chalet and all that. But I think it's like just a weird place because of like what you said is like everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's business is up in the air, and like after going to high school here and I work at like the local Starbucks, like I know everybody, you know, and it's like to me that can be nice because it's like I don't know, there's this like community here that's like super together, but I don't know, just I feel like I lived here for too long already. Yeah. I feel like I'm just ready to like be out of my hometown, and I think everyone gets there at some point.
Right. And there's not a lot of rappers from Pacifica.
No.
There's barely any rappers from San Francisco.
That just sounds
everybody.
lame.
I know there's some rappers who listen to this who are from San Francisco, and I love you all very much. But there's like 5 people here who rap, and it's there's definitely no one from Pacifica who's a rapper.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm so grateful that like I have a few buddies of mine who are like super serious about their music and look at it the same way, because it's people that I can like vibe with and like
right.
You know, and kind of do my thing with. But the other thing about Pacifica is like I live off like big city crazy like go-getter energy, like, you know, we all have goals, like let's go do it, let's take risks, you know, let's do our thing. And like Pacifica's so not like that. Pacifica's so just like, you know, I'm just content like working my job that I hate at, and I yell at my barista every morning when I come into Starbucks, and like, you know,
a lot of construction,
yeah,
lot of surfing, and outside of that, it's a weird. It is a good thing that there's community, that people know each other, but there's bad parts to that. There's like it feels a little not hick like Half Moon Bay hick. And obviously in comparison to other Hicks, like that's nothing. But like Pacifica has like just a tinge, just a nice little swath of. This is the second time I've used swath on the show so far.
I know what that word means.
I don't know either. You listen to the wrong podcast if you think this guy's well informed. But there's just a fucking there's a strange film of hickness over the town. It's strange to me. I mean, I know you're from here, so I don't want to like. But
I'm from Pacifica, motherfucker. No,
exactly.
I like to think that Pacifica has two things for anybody that comes here: soccer moms and meth heads.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it. That's all we got.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to meet all the soccer moms.
Right.
I'm trying to avoid the meth heads.
And if you haven't been either one, then stop lying to yourself.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think I'm more of a soccer mom, probably.
Yeah, I'm still working on the kids part, but
The night is young.
Yeah, I tried to take the rubber off, but she was like, no. She was like, can you do some more push-ups before you marry me?
Oh, no. Wait, don't tell me that actually happened.
No.
All right. Now you're just being silly. So what do you? So you said you see your music a certain way. What's your vibe when it comes to music? What do you feel like? When did you start listening? When did you start realizing you wanted to be a rapper?
Yeah. Okay. This is awesome. Basically, so I grew up playing drums.
Oh, okay.
And I played in a band for a really long time. I started playing drums when I was like 6.
What was the name of the band?
The Jess Dogs.
The Jess Dogs. All right, we'll get into that. Anyway,
Yeah.
you started drumming at 6?
So I started drumming at 6, and yeah, my dad put me in lessons. He got me a kit, and like I used to play with soccer shin pads on because because the kick pedal would bounce back and hit me in the shin, and I would get so upset about it. Like as like a little 8-year-old, I'd be crying on the drum set, like, oh, my shin hurts. So anyways, like I played drums for a really long time, and like in 6th or 7th grade, I started getting into rap. And like and I was going through a ton of stuff with like both my parents and like just, like just weird middle school stuff that I think everyone has.
Right.
And yeah, and I started writing lyrics about it. And I wrote lyrics all the way through high school, and like I was never confident enough in like my ability to rap or share my lyrics to really do anything with them. So I played drums in a band for a really long time, and that was like one of the best experiences, being able to get up on stage and play with everybody.
So what's the spell Jess Dog?
Jestdogs.
Jest Dog.
So like a jester
Right.
is an entertainer.
Right.
And like dogs run in like a family, like wild dogs. We're not talking about like the trained ones.
Right.
But like wild dogs run in a family and are super loyal to each other. And that's kind of how we felt. That's kind of how we felt about our band, is like we all got up on stage to entertain everybody and have a good time.
Uh-huh.
But like at the end of the day, like it was just us, and we just felt like this close-knitted like pack of brothers.
It is a little corny, but
It is corny. I'm corny. What can I say, dude? I'm fucking corny.
Well, that's cool. And so you guys did careful of the cord. You guys did shows?
Yeah, so we played at like 924 Gilman.
Yeah.
A couple of times, and our first show was at the Moose Lodge.
Where's that?
In Valimar.
Man, I don't know this. Where's Valimar? I don't even know where that is.
By Guerreros?
Son, you're just listing things that like
Valimar Station.
I have no idea what's
So like
Valimar
Rockaway,
Station.
you know Rockaway over here?
Yes.
So then you keep going past Rockaway. And
On
there's
one north?
Yeah.
Okay, on one north.
And there's
And
like Valimar School right there, and there's a burrito place, and there's Valimar Gorilla Barbecue. You know where Gorilla?
Yeah.
So
there's a club over there, or
It's-
like a bar, or like a.
It's like I don't know. It's like a white trash country club, I feel like.
Okay, all right. Perfect fit for Pacifica. Yes.
Yeah, and they have like. They have big dinners there and like all kinds of like fundraising events.
Okay, so it's a mix. It's a place for both the soccer moms and the meth heads.
Exactly.
And they come together.
Exactly. And
Very
they're
nice.
one.
Yes.
And we call them Pacifica.
Yes. Okay, and so you got to play there. For me, when I first started playing, it was like I had all this, quote unquote talent in my head. and then getting up on stage, and it was like I'd never done it, and so I was just like all force. There was no nuance to like my performance. There was no like I was just so fucking nervous, and for a long time that's how I performed. It was very like, okay, I had this idea because I've been practicing this in front of a mirror since I was a kid, and like now I get up on stage and I'm like I have these ideas about how I'm supposed to act or look or sing, and I would do that, but it was just I would blow out my voice really quickly, and I was just so nervous and shaky, and I wasn't in my body, and with it. What was your experiences? I mean, maybe it was different because you weren't a front man, but what was your experience with performing at first?
I was definitely nervous. We played so much and practiced so much with our band that like I felt comfortable with the sets and the drum parts and all that. But I definitely was super nervous and felt like, okay, like I had to act a certain way. At the same time, music, no matter what I'm doing on stage, has always been about losing myself in it.
Okay.
You know, like I walk around all day like thinking about like, oh, does this person think this of me? Like,
Right.
Is my jacket clean enough? Like,
Right.
You know, and so the magic part of music for me is that I get to lose myself.
Okay.
You know, I get to lose my ego and be just my music, just for that
Right.
couple minutes I'm on stage, or like even when I'm recording, you know, now when I go record rap in the studio, just those like 30 minutes where I'm doing take after take after take, I'm not thinking about myself, you know, I'm not like, oh, does my buddy think my shoes are cool? Like, I'm just like, you know, I just get to be there, and I have the lyrics memorized, and I just get to be like, I don't know, I guess
That's that's really good. I mean, I relate to that, but I also find that there has been times where I'm performing and I am in my head, or even when I'm recording, especially when I go and I'm on someone else's track, because I write hooks for people. Right. And when I'm on someone else's track, I do find that like sometimes, especially in the more, you know, years ago in the beginning, I would go and I'm like, okay, I'm in the booth, just do it, and I'm like I would fuck up on a word, or I would like you know, blow out a certain note, and I'm like, that's the, you know, I get in my head when it comes. Maybe it's just my neuroses, but like,
so I relate to it with like with rapping, definitely.
Okay.
I basically like, my friends put on this open mic night a while back.
Okay.
And like I guess I'll talk about like how I got into rapping first. So I had all those lyrics for the longest time, and
you saw them as lyrics, not as poetry or anything, right?
I saw them like I would rap them in my room by myself, you know. And
what was your go-to beat maker when you would do that, or would it change? Would it always be like one specific beat and like?
No, I go on Spotify or SoundCloud and I just look up like, because people like, there's so many producers, especially nowadays, like that just throw up beats on like all kinds of platforms. So I would just go in there and find something. If I have an old song that I really like, I'll find like the karaoke version to it and like spit something over it, just because like
Wake Me Up Inside by Evanescence. No.
You know what? I should try something. Oh my God.
Fucking dare do that shit. I will fucking.
A lot of times I can find there's this genre that's like, it's basically like coffee house jazz.
Yeah.
And it's called chill hop.
Okay.
And it's on Spotify, and it's all just like jazzy, weird instrumentals. But that's a lot of times like what I choose to write to.
Can you remember any of the beat makers' names or any of the jazz?
You can go on Spotify and you just look up chill hop, and it will be like best of chill hop summer 2016, winter 2018. You know, like it'll just, they have so many different playlists, and I'll just shuffle it, because not only is it something I can keep on in my room, it's just like background noise, but it's something that like I might hear one that clicks in my head, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta write to that.
Right.
And that's how writing always works for me too. Like if I sit down and try to write, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm not writing anything, or I am, and it's not gonna like be authentic.
Right.
Like I remember, I guess my favorite thing to say about writing, like, and how I can kind of describe it all, is that like I was going to catch the bus from Daly City BART, and I was walking down to Westlake, and it was pouring rain, and like I was just listening to instrumentals just on my way home, and I had this idea, and I was like, fuck, I gotta sit down and write it. And I found this tree to sit under, and I just typed it out real fast on my phone. Maybe I had my notebook, something, but I like, you know, lyrics come to me like in the spur of the moment. It's not something that I'm like, I'm going to write about this topic because I want to sound cool when I rap this, you know, I can't.
I hate that. When I get ready to like put it together and I go to sit down specifically to write, especially when I don't often know it at the time, but when there's ego behind it, meaning especially when I'm like, I'm going to sit down and write about a certain topic, and then I get ready to go sit down and write about a certain topic, and it's just like it's not coming together. But and I've talked about this with a lot of other rappers or musicians, where like you sit down to write. Or you don't sit down to write, and all of a sudden something comes to you. And you're like, "Fuck! All right, grab something." Just like, all right, you know, because it's almost like Dave Chappelle talked about. It's almost like the idea pulls up to your house and is like, "Get in," you know, and the idea is driving, and you have to just go like, "Okay, all right, I'm not ready, but okay, you know, can I like shower for?" No, get in. We're gonna go. You know?
Right.
I had that experience. I was walking through Chinatown, and I wrote this. All of a sudden, I had this idea for this song. It's not going to be on the record, but it's called "The Barely Legal Blonde." It's just literally all it is just a story about this. I mean, the chorus goes, "This is just a story about a barely legal blonde bitch I betted in 2009," and it just like kind of rolled together. And as I was walking, I was walking home, and I was just like, you know, it was like fucking probably midnight, dark, desolate, like nothing, you know, abandoned streets. And it just came to me. I was like, shit, I have to like, so I recorded it into my phone, and like all of a sudden more lyrics come, and I'm like, whoa, that's perfect. Like it just fit together perfectly. And I wasn't ready for it. I didn't sit down to write it. It just came. And I hate that in a way, because I want to know, like I want to be ready in a way, and I'm scared that I'm not going to be ready when the ideas do come. I would much rather control it, which is, you know, I'm not saying I would for sure rather, but there's a piece of my ego maybe, or a piece of fear, I guess, that makes me want to control the idea more than just let it happen. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing with freestyling for me is like, I mean, there's been so many times I get in the studio with somebody and like I spend so much of my time writing that like I have so many verses that I've memorized in my head. But like if I'm not like in a creative sense to like come up with something, like I'm not gonna, you know, it has to flow out of me at the right time. It's not It's not just like, you know, I heard this rapper that was getting interviewed talk about freestyling in a way that I thought was really cool. It was like, if you met Michael Jordan, would you like be like, get in my car, we're going to the basketball court and you're going to shoot a 3 right now?
Right.
You know, like and I think that, you know, a lot of music nowadays from my perspective is like taken as like this thing to brag about rather than like
something to be grateful for.
Yeah, or like a way to express myself. And I'm not bagging on any music. You know, I think if you're out there making music, doing your thing, do it. You know,
I bag on some music.
I'm not like okay, you know, I'm going to rephrase that. I really try not to. I try not to. You know? In a perfect world, I'd like to be supportive of everybody's music.
Yes.
Because you're trying to do something for yourself, and if it's authentic and it's honest, go for it.
Yeah.
Do it. I'm all about like, you know, I try to be all about, and you'll see me talk about it on social media a lot, about like, you know, if money wasn't a thing, Alan Watts has this speech, and he says, if money was not a thing, what would you spend your time doing? And I try to talk to other people about it, and, you know, like, talk to myself about it, like, what do I really want to do, and then how am I going to turn this into a career?
Right.
You know, so if music is what you really want to do, go for it. Be smart, but take risks. You know, have fun with it, and like, just make sure that you feel like you're living for a reason. You know, I see so many people, and I feel like I meet so many people that don't feel like they have a reason to live except like what their peers' expectations are of them.
Right.
It's like, you know, why you don't have to live like that.
And obviously it's part of the reason why you feel that way is because it has been something that both you and I have lived through or continuously live through on a daily basis. You know, when I you know, when I like when I judge that or I try to remind, it's because I have it in my body and in my experience of like, fuck, I was just doing that so someone else could see me do that, you know, or I was just performing so I could be cool, and then I finished that thing, and that even if it did go off that perfect way in my manipulative mind, it's like I still get in my car and I go home and I'm still just me, you know, jerking off eating a pizza. Like there's nothing there's nothing changed in my life because someone liked me, you know what I mean? It's just ego feeding. It doesn't actually feed the actual purpose, I don't think, you know what I mean? And there's weird things that have happened to me in my life and in my music career where I wasn't ready for it and I wasn't like manipulating my way into it. It just happened, and that's the shit that, like, when I don't force it, it happens. I think there's room for God or whatever you want to call it to kind of move, you know, or you know, the universe or whatever, to like move you in that direction, and like, you know, when you let it happen, you know what I mean?
Right, and that's kind of the feeling that I get when I play music or I write music, is like I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I have a feeling in my heart, my soul, whatever, like, you know, cheesy shit you want to hear me say right now. But like, you know, I have a feeling that like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And with that feeling, I have to have faith that if I put the work in, I'm smart, and I take risks and just do what I love, that somehow, some way that's going to carry me, you know, in a direction I want to go in. And, you know, I feel like there's kind of, at least I think, there's like kind of a misconception about like making it with music. Making it with music does not mean rich and famous.
Okay.
Like,
so what do you think it means?
You know, I think for me, like, what the dream looks like for music is to get like a paycheck from merch, a paycheck from a show, a paycheck from a fucking YouTube channel, and then do some advertising and throw it all in my bank account and then give it to the like guy who I pay rent to. You know, if my music and everything that comes with it can pay for me to live,
right?
Like, what? That's the dream, you know?
Right.
And I think what goes hand in hand with that is having my music affect people in the same way that music has affected me.
Right.
Like, I was showing somebody a song that I was working on, and they, like, you know, they explained to me, like, what this lyric that I wrote meant to them. And it was, like, it was the most beautiful thing in the world. And they were asking me later, like, where do you hope to go with music? And it's like, dude, I'm already a fucking rock star. Like, look, you really took something that I wrote and interpreted it into your life.
Right.
What else could I ask for?
Right.
You know,
that's a very good place to come from. And at the same time, sometimes I've seen that go to the extreme where people, like, as long, because I see what you mean, and I on better days I have that same idea, but I also find that there are, especially in the hip hop community, there are a lot of people who start out and they try stuff and they will look for ways out. You know what I mean? So here's what I mean by that. Like, they will look for, because there is a lot of continuous failure, continuous risk, continuous struggle, continuous bullshit, continuous ups and downs, and, you know, you do the show and it goes off amazing, and then you get in your car and, like I was saying, like, and you're just like, oh, all right, well, is fame gonna call yet? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's that continuous struggle, and so there's some people who, like, I know one guy in particular, like, I didn't know him very well, but I saw him, like, once at a show, probably, like, 2013. He was a funny guy, good rapper, and then just kind of stopped trying, you know what I mean? Stopped putting it out there, and was just, like, fine, because it was almost like, here's what I mean, I guess. Yes, it's good to have that, but there are sometimes that can slip into a mentality of good enough. You know what I mean? Well, I did good enough. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to like go big. And like, I feel like going big, like I have to ride the wave of like, okay, be grateful for getting to perform, be grateful for getting to touch people's lives, be grateful for getting to entertain and fulfill my soul and theirs. But I also have to, you know, I also have to keep an eye on fuck you, pay me. You know what I mean? Like, I also have to keep an eye on, like, yeah, my shit, I do have to get paid for what I'm worth. You know what I mean? I do have to keep an eye out for that as well. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just because I've been doing it for longer and stuff, but I don't know.
I think that's an awesome insight, actually. I think, like, yeah, no, I think I think that's a good thing to think about, especially for me, because I'm like this very like open, like hippie type, like let's collaborate with everybody and like everybody just get along, let's fucking make
Right.
music. At the end of the day, it's a business too, along with an art.
Right.
You know, so I need to look at it like that, especially if I want to take it seriously.
Right.
You know, and turn it into a career. I need to look at the business aspect and like, you know, what it's gonna do for me.
Right.
You know, I just had somebody like who I don't know at all, you know, text me and he's like, "Can you do this intro for me? Like I need this intro done for my album." And it was something that he wrote out, and I was like, "Yeah, like I might be able to do it. Like, are you going to pay me?" And it's like, you know, I don't know you. Like, so I haven't like I haven't been friends with you at all.
Right.
And like you wrote this, so it has nothing to do with my creative art.
Yep.
And you want me to spend my studio time recording it.
Yep.
And it's like, no, that's not how this works, you know? If it's like my producer coming up with his own single stuff and somebody who's helped me out in the same ways,
Right.
like we're talking, you know, something different.
Yeah.
But I gotta, you know, pay me for what I'm worth.
And even for fam stuff, like there's one in particular, I won't necessarily name names, but there's one song in particular that I did because he was connected and we kind of knew each other, but he was connected to some people that I had done music with, and I kind of saw them all as like family. And I did the song, and it's got thousands of views and plays, and I'm sure at least 5 or 6 downloads. But it's got a little bit of fucking traction behind it, and I maybe get like tagged. Like that's as good as I get. Like
Right.
as far as it was for promotion. Like it wasn't even used for promotion for me. You know what I mean? Not only did I not get paid, but it also was like, can I get like a little like even promotion? Like tag me more than once every 2 years on it. You know what I mean? Like can you help me out? You know what I mean? A little bit like, and maybe I need to do some writing on it. But like I just feel like that's one of those experiences, and it wasn't something that I was like that I wrote. It was something that was already written, and I did my own interpretation of it, and I did some harmonies to it, and I know I knocked it out of the park. But at the same time, it's like, what am I? You know, I'm not. You know what I mean? That was a good learning experience, because it's like, well, I don't want to do that, because number one, it didn't feel authentic to me, and number two, you know, what's that? I don't know if Alan Watts said this, but someone else where it was like, it either has to feed you artistically or feed you monetarily, and you have to kind of weigh those out. And I feel like that was an experience where it kind of didn't really do either. Like I thought maybe it would, through promotion and through, I knew how many thousands of plays this would get. Okay, fine, I'll put my name on it and I'll do it. And this guy's a nice guy and is good people, and it might, you know, feed me. It might feed me into another project or whatever. But it hasn't really done any of that, and it wasn't something that I felt like was artistically authentic. So it was like, kind of sucked. You know what I mean? Kind of sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the downside to being like a generous, like giving person, is you hope that people are going to treat you in the same way that like
Right.
you might think you're going to treat somebody that like hops on your track.
Right.
You know, it's like, obviously if somebody does some art for me, like I'm going to shout them out and be like, look at what this person did. But like not everybody's going to do that for me. And like,
Right.
especially once like good money starts being involved, like people lose their shit over money. You
Right.
know, look at anybody famous, you know, just
Right.
like anybody that starts getting money or power, like just gets greedy. And I think, you know, the kid that's producing my stuff right now made a valid point. He's just like, I'm never doing anything that involves money again unless I have a contract with that person.
Yeah.
I want it to be out on the table. Look, this is how much of this song you own. This is what I need credit for. And I think like,
Right.
I think that's the right way to go about it, is like, let's be straightforward and figure this out. Not like, oh, you know, I might pay you or might shout you out.
Right. Or if it's not clear, it's like, you know, maybe the guy I recorded that song for, he didn't know how many thousands would happen, but like at least like on the back end, help a motherfucker out. You know, throw me $5,
Right.
you know, like on the back end. But there's not even like very much of a shout out. It's just kind of like, okay, well, all right, I guess I did that. You know what I mean? And then I've also had I've had at least, there's like a couple of songs I remember whether I got paid for it or not, where rappers would reach out to me to write a hook for them and sing it. I write the hook, I sing it, sounds good, I'm happy about it, I'm proud for it, and there's never like, oh, this needs to come out, whatever. But like then it's been literally, there's one in particular, I really liked the fucking performance, I really liked the song, I would like the beat, his raps were good, and it was good, and he's got some traction to him, and it's been literally like 4 years, and he just never put it out.
Fuck.
It's just like, what the fuck? Like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, I understand you got family and shit, but like, can we just do this?
Yeah.
Like, are you waiting until I get more famous so you can tag me in it? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. So it's a frustrating thing when you're not at the helm of it, and I don't know. It's weird. Hey, let me stop this recording real quick, and then start it up again because sometimes this shit has. There we go.
Wow.
So do you feel like, from your experience, like, do you feel, how much writing did you do in the band?
Well, I just wrote drum parts.
Okay, so
I never wrote lyrics for the band or guitar parts. I just wrote drum parts, and like usually.
Did they know you were rapping at the time?
No. Nobody knew I was rapping, like, until, like, I don't
guess
know.
technically you weren't, but
I think, yeah, right? Yeah, I think I showed my friend, like, the first verse I ever wrote, I don't know. I didn't learn that when I graduated 8th grade.
Right.
I think I showed him the first verse, like, maybe like a year and a half ago. And he was like, whoa, this is actually pretty good. And then that gave me like a little boost of confidence to start doing something. And, I started working with my friend Getty, who's like, I played in a band with him. And he's just been all for it. I came to him with a bunch of material. I was like, look, I want to do an EP. I have all 5 songs written out with instrumentals that we'll like rewrite, because I can't like copy something that's already on Spotify.
Right.
But basically I would bring him an instrumental and he would get influenced by it and then write a guitar part, and we'd program drums and then the song would be put together.
Okay.
And
is that already a finished product that's out there that people can find, or is that?
So I'm on like Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and right now I have a single out called Lyrical Madness, and it's like this crazy thing that we did. I ended up working with this producer down in San Diego, and like he turned it into this like, I don't know, it sounds like nothing else. Like,
in a good way?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
No, it's awesome. Like he messed with my lyrics a lot, and like it almost has like a EDM like dance vibe in the chorus, and like it's basically just a bunch of bars I wrote that I put together because I was like, I want to just create something that's like has good lyrical content and not too much.
Closer to your face.
Yeah, good lyrical content and like not too much structure.
Right.
And like, I could just have something at least to like put under my name for now.
Did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him?
I reached out to him.
Okay, cool.
Because he works with another one of my friends.
Cool.
And then recently I put out another single from this 14-year-old kid in England.
Yeah.
Was like,
that's some magical shit, man. Hip hop is such a weird life that you can reach out. That there are, especially young kids who like, as long as they have a computer and the drive, they just start making shit on their own. They don't need a record contract to get into a studio, to get into the stuff and finally write stuff. They don't, and it's, they can make their own stuff and go out there and start. I mean, it obviously it creates its own issues because now that means you're kind of left to your own devices, but you're kind of left to your own devices in a good way. You know what I mean? The fact that you can match up with a 14-fucking-year-old in goddamn England.
Yeah.
That's some weird magical shit. You know
and
what
especially in the like hip hop game right now, everybody just DMs each other on social
Right.
media and it's like, hey, like I want to collab. And so basically like this kid had done a song with my other friend, Cody, he does like emo rap.
Okay.
He does emo rap, and
That's the last time you're going to be allowed to say that. In
okay,
my house, by the way.
okay, it's over. I'm done. Just kidding. Cut that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
And you liked the song he did with Cody?
Yeah, and so I kind of liked it. And so this kid like sent me a message, and he was like, "Yo, like I heard like your first single, and like I like it, and I have this rap song that I don't know what to do with." And this kid records his lyrics on a MacBook microphone. Like, so when we got him, when we got these lyrics, we had to crank up the reverb. Like, we just slammed the reverb on it, and it actually turned out, not too bad, like, for what we were working with.
Right.
And so I did this verse on it, and it's this real, like, I don't know what I would compare it to. It sounds a lot like X.
Who? Oh, Exhibit?
No.
What's X?
XXX Tentacion.
Oh, Extentation or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, you don't.
No.
You're not about it.
I'm not about it.
Yeah, no, it's...
I mean, I know he's dead and everything, and rest in peace, but, like... Sorry, continue.
No, we're good.
If you like
We're
it,
good, we're good.
I won't go on a rant.
No, it's... No, I think it's, like... I think it's
I'm a
super
respectful
solid.
boy.
The single came out. It's called Detached. It's on Spotify and Apple Music, and, like... it's real meaningful lyrics. I was surprised by his lyrical content. I was like, are you really 14? Like,
Right.
you're rapping about, like, some serious stuff.
Right.
And, yeah, we put it together. Getty produced it and put it out. So there's those two out right now. And, like, I don't know. It's just a trip for me just to even have two singles out. Because it's, like, a year ago, I was, like, sitting in my room being like, damn, like, I wish I had the confidence to rap. And now I got my little picture on Spotify. I feel like a rock star.
Right.
Like...
As long as... See, that's the thing, is, like, I was thinking about this, too, as far as the 14-year-old, like, why would he have lyrics that are really good? I'm sure he's got raw talent, but apparently, I didn't know this until, you ever seen Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
No.
It's a show on Netflix. Watch it. Jerry Seinfeld goes and gets coffee with comedians and funny people and stuff like that. But he's it's just a funny fucking show. And there's one episode he did with Alec Baldwin, and where they're talking about when they were younger, they just kind of assumed that because they had raw talent, someone would come by and knock on their door from the fame committee. Hey, we have no idea who you are. We've never heard of you. You have no representation to speak of. But we just think you're really famous. We just think you're really great, and we're gonna make you famous.
Totally.
And I don't. And raw talent, unfortunately, it turns out is not enough. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to, because you need it. I know for me, I needed the ego of knowing, like, I could do that. I think I could do that. I needed the ego of going, like, I'm funnier than these people, or I'm better a singer and like, I could do this. So I needed the ego of that, but I also needed to understand that ego or raw talent is not enough. You know what I mean? I needed to know that I had to work hard, and I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of hard fucking work. There's a lot of failure and a lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of, like, trying and pointing at the fences and knocking it out, and then nothing happens. There's a lot of, like, hard work when it comes to, like, doing this stuff.
Well, and that's something that, like, I'm diving into. I totally agree with you. It's like, just because, like, I got good lyrical content and, like, a couple of the singles, like, I think they sound good, does not mean, like, Dr. Dre's gonna come knocking at my door like, hey, yo, like, we need another Slim Shady, like, come make a track with me.
Right.
So, that's something I'm kind of trying to dive into lately.
I mean,
like,
even
what kind of promotion can I do on my social media?
Right.
How can I start booking shows?
Right.
Because it's not going to get done for me.
Right.
I need to go out and do what I need to do.
Right. And a lot of it is luck, and a lot of it is having the right people near you, or getting near the right people. But also part of it is you have to make sure that your product is good, and you have to, like, continuously work on it. That, like, I know I thought I was good enough at 25, and now I think, okay, I'm light years beyond the performer or the writer or the whatever that I was 7 years ago, but I still have a long way to go now. You know what I mean? But I need to continuously work on the product, and put myself out there. Like, one of the things as far as booking shows I didn't realize is you can just email motherfuckers at this cafe or this bar or this whatever, you can just email places and say you want to perform there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not that difficult. Like it is. On the back end, it's more difficult because you need to book people, and you make zero money, and sometimes you pay out to other artists and you didn't make any money at the door, so now you're just paying out of your pocket, and you're promoting and promoting and promoting, and 2 people show up, and it's just like it. On the back end, it's a pain in the ass, but once you start getting your foot in the door and realizing, okay, this is what this experience is of emailing 60 venues, getting 2 emailing me back, and now we start the process of setting up a show and booking other artists. It's a pain in the back end. Have you done rap shows yet, or no?
No, so I just did that one open mic night.
Which one?
So I did it like maybe 3 months ago. Something some of my friends put on.
Okay.
And so I got up there and I did 2 songs, and I was so nervous. Right. My God. Right. I went in and I was like, I got it in the bag. It's all good. I got my instrumentals. I've been practicing it. I've been looking in the mirror and
and my hairbrush.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't own any of those.
And yeah, and I was totally fucking nervous, but I think the most important part for me is I got up there,
right?
I did my best to the best of my ability that night,
right?
And I came back with a learning experience,
right.
Something to practice, and
it was supposed to be. I mean, it was supposed to be nerve-wracking. It's supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be bad, for a while. What I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I've had so many times where I was I wasn't prepared, or I did something wrong on the back end. I remember one time I set up a show at Brainwash Cafe, and I think we were scheduled to start at 7, and one of the other artists hadn't shown up, and I was super nervous, and I felt like I needed to restring my guitar, so I'm literally restringing my guitar at 7:05. You know what I mean? I did not start the show on time, and I did not it was I did dumb. It was a dumb move. I think it was 2012, maybe 2013, and. And through that experience, I learned, hey, don't do that shit. But it's supposed to be bad for a while. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I look at Frank Zappa, when I look at these prolific artists that I look up to, they had a lot of bad shows. They had a lot of stumbling. They had a lot of shit inside and outside of them that made this a harder thing. And that's okay. It's supposed to be difficult. If this wasn't difficult, more motherfuckers would be doing it.
Yeah.
And
amen.
Yeah.
I think so I watched this. You know who Gary Vee is?
No.
So you gotta follow him on Instagram. He's this entrepreneur, and he talks about business and
I'm gonna get sunburned.
Same. I feel it on the side of my face. I'm am I gonna get roasted out here?
Right. Maybe we should. I don't know. We can change locations if you want.
It doesn't feel too bad yet.
Okay. Well, I'm very bald, but continue.
Yeah, so I was this guy. Wait, what the fuck were you saying before that?
I don't know, but it was amazing.
Yeah, I feel it.
It was profound. Oh, I was talking about it's supposed to be difficult, otherwise more motherfuckers would do it.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Vee.
Yeah,
Gary Vee's an entrepreneur.
He talks about it, and I try to, something I look up to is I gotta love the process. I can't be I can't come at music or really much in life hey, I'm gonna be happy once I get here.
Yeah.
I gotta love working 8-hour work days, going to the studio, not getting any sleep, and doing it again the next day. Yeah. And I gotta enjoy eating shit and
journey.
Trying and
the
failing
journey,
it.
not there is no destination.
Yeah.
There is no
I got it tatted up here.
Yeah.
It says, I was watching this philosopher one time, and he was like, I never talk about what's missing in my life. I just say it's on its way. Because it keeps me in a motivational, positive outlook.
Right.
And, it keeps me, doing what I love. So, yeah, I mean, I try to live by that. A lot of times I don't. My friends just remind me that I have it tattooed on me.
Right.
But it's I got to enjoy what's going on right now and know that whatever I'm hoping for is going to come, and I'll get to experience it when it comes.
Right.
For now, I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
You ever heard Kids in the Hall?
No.
Horrible person. So Kids in the Hall, It's this comedy troupe from Canada from the 80s, 90s, and they're still doing stuff. Hilarious motherfuckers. And Kids in the Hall, there was this short documentary on it, and Dave Foley, one of the guys in there, was talking about how when they were cutting their teeth and they were playing in Canada and doing these skits over and over for years to like 5 people to it was growing and growing, and he was like when fame comes, like because they eventually got a show, and he was like there wasn't a feeling when Lorne Michaels came and was like, okay, we're going to give you a show. He said there wasn't a feeling of it was more like, and I'm totally butchering his words on it, but like he was saying like they had worked so hard for so long and had so many setbacks and then successes and setbacks and successes that it almost felt like, oh, okay, all right. There wasn't like, it wasn't as romantic as he thought it would be. The feeling of like, yeah, we're going to give you a show. It wasn't like, yay. It was like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which is, it takes the romance out of it. It takes away the idea of the Peter Feliciano movie that that I'm making in my fucking head. But it's necessary to remember that. It's necessary to think like, okay, this is about a journey, not a destination.
Right. And like the grass might be greener on the other side, but once I get to the other side, I'm gonna see the next side with even greener grass. Right. So it's like one of my friends who's like trying to get into bodybuilding, who's actually made like a lot of progress. That kid's crazy. Like I remember he used to be like this chubby little kid in high school, and now I see him at the gym and he's all straight meathead.
Right.
But he was telling me about like this guy that he watches, and it's something along the lines of like proud but never like, I don't know, like I guess I would use the word like stagnant. Like, I'm happy with what I'm doing, right, but I'm never going to be like, oh, now I'm here.
Right. We can't rest on our laurels.
Yeah, like now I'm here, so I'm just going to kick back and not do shit, like I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Right.
Here's the next thing I'm going to try to do.
I thought laurels was like the haunches. It turns out laurels apparently is like in the Olympics, or when you went, they put a wreath over you, like over your head. You know what I mean, like over your neck. So it's like we can't rest on the idea of what we created or an award we got or fame or money or whatever we've achieved. We can't rest on what we've achieved.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's difficult. Especially when you haven't achieved very much.
Yeah, I feel it.
Let's pause and were you down to keep going?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's pause. All right, la 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 la
La la la.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So yeah, look at that. God, we look sexy. I don't know how people can watch this without. I mean, if you want, ladies, if you want to send titty shots, just conservatishpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, can you forward those to me?
We'll see.
Okay.
I think you get like 10%. I can send.
So you're gonna like crop out the picture? Like I'll just get the corner like shot or something?
Half a nip.
Oh, okay. That works. That works for me.
Half a nip.
That's all it takes, honestly. 30 Hey, for all my fans watching, 30 seconds and half a nip. You can leave a tip if you want.
Yay! Good girls. That's good. I was also interested in talking to you about. I think we talked about it before the show, but you're bisexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a lot of rappers that you see that are openly bisexual.
I think for me, like, it's
like, when did you know?
Definitely, like, so somebody asked me a while ago, they were like, who was the first guy you saw? Like, because they don't want to know about the first girl. They're like, you thought about fucking pussy your whole life. Like,
right.
And they were like, who's the first guy you saw? And I was watching Bullet in a Bible, the live performance.
What in the hell is that?
Okay, Green Day, their live performance in London, right? And they're playing, have you heard the song King for a Day?
Yeah.
So they're playing that song, and Billy.
Son, I grew up on Nimrod. Don't fucking talk to me about King.
And Billy Joe has a fucking king hat on,
right?
And like has black skinny jeans, black button up, and a red tie, and covered in eyeliner. And I was like, that's a sexy fucking man right there. Like,
I love that your first dude that you were attracted to was fucking dumb Billy Joel. That's so interesting, dude. That's so interesting.
So, but I think, like,
dude, I remember Nimrod. I remember King for a Day. Fucking Nice Guy. Not Nice Guys finished last. No. Hitching a Ride. Yeah, dude. That was the single on there. Man, fucking late '90s, dude. God damn.
Yeah, that's
a long time
That's
ago.
what I grew up on, is like pop punk.
Right.
And then I just went from there. But I think, like, as far as like sexuality goes, and as like any character trait that I have, is like, it doesn't define me.
Right.
You know, I felt super like insecure about being a rapper for the longest time, because I was like, well, if I say I'm a rapper, people are gonna think A, B, C, and D about me.
Right.
You know, and like, if I say I'm bisexual, people are gonna think A, B, C, and D about me. You know, like,
right.
And I think I have to see like those things and things that I am as a part of my whole, rather than something that defines me.
Whole, get it? All right. No, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah. I think most of us are kind of somewhere on the spectrum when it comes to that. Like, I haven't met very many people who haven't done, like, very many straight people who haven't done like one or two gay things from time to time. I've got some head over the years, like from some dudes. It wasn't like something I was like excited about, but it was like, you know, I was curious about it, and I also was like, you know, I just it's a barren wasteland of vagina. There's no vagina coming my way. Let me try it out, see what happens. So I put it up on Craigslist. This was back in like before you were born, like 2007. And it was the Wild West days of Craigslist, where you could just like send, you know, you could get prostitutes. I did that a couple of times. You could find sex. You could just, that was what people were doing. And so I sent some messages out and sent some shit out like, hey, I'm straight, but I'm down to get some head. Here's what I kind of look like, you know, and just messages. And
of course, that's what happens to me too.
Dude, it's fucking crazy how much like.
Sometimes it's hard being sexy, honestly. Like, it's kind of tough.
But that's what's interesting too. As a straight guy, mostly straight guy, I didn't realize that there are dudes out there who are just down to suck dick, and they're happier than shit to just suck dick, and they don't care about like reciprocation. They're just that. I've never, like, I love eating pussy, but it's never been like, okay, that's all. Like, I get all of my sexual filling from just eating your pussy. Like, that's
But
not
like, would you
felt.
do it? Like, if there was some like nice looking lady that just, you know, hit your line, and she was like, I just want to get my pussy eaten. I never thought I'd say that.
I don't think I would, though. Like, because, like, okay, you're not going to do anything. Like, okay, maybe I could do it. Like, if it's been a couple of weeks, if it's been a couple of months, like, no sex. Right. No sex. It's like, all right, maybe. But, like, you're not going to do nothing. You're not even going to get handy. Like, what the? Like, nothing. I'm not, you know, because I didn't even touch these guys. They didn't take their dick out. Nothing happened. It was just head. And it was like, it's weird. Like, this is interesting to me. It's queer. it's weird. It doesn't have. I've never thought about that before. You know what I mean? But I mean, God bless them. You know, like they were very giving gentlemen. But like, yeah, and that same thing goes. Like, I haven't even met. I know some gay guys, a lot of gay guys who've done straight shit from time to time. You know what I mean? Like, it's
hell yeah.
It's kind of where most of us are kind of somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not.
I think if you're a person that's had a time in your life where your ego has been in the gutter, then you've probably swallowed your pride enough to try out both sides. Like, it's how I see that. You know?
Wait, is that how you initially thought about it? Like, or no? Because it sounds like you thought. Like, I remember when I thought I was bisexual. I remember remember the as far as late '90s. Remember the lead singer of Incubus?
Yeah.
I thought that motherfucker was a little. Yeah, he was a little sexy. All right, what am I gonna say? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But like,
well, I think
because it sounded like it was genuine to you. It wasn't like a self-hate thing.
No, not at all. But I'm just, you know, I think like, I don't know. I think a lot of times like sexuality is seen in a way where like, if you're this way, you're prideful of it, and if you're this way, you're ashamed of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like, if you can get rid of that, then you start being curious and maybe even discovering yourself more.
Okay.
Depending on like, where you're at and where you go with it.
Right.
But
or
if
you have good people around you, I guess. That might be a piece of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Although the shame adds. I mean, as far as to my regular sex life, I think the shame adds fun when it's taboo, when it's not right, when there's a little Catholic guilt to it. Like I love a good Catholic guilt girl. You know, there's something good about that. Like if there's gonna be seediness, I love. Oh my God, dude, have you ever? This might be one of those things you don't want to talk about. Have you ever been the other man? Like for a girl or a guy who's cheating on their significant other? Have you ever been the other man?
No. I'm
not gonna say I endorse it, but I endorse it. It's fucking fun. It's hilarious fun. I know it's treacherous. I know it's bad. But God damn, it just feels. As far as like the wrongness, motherfucker.
I might have to think about how much I want this actually in here, but I'm just gonna say it for shit's sake, and hopefully I'll forget, and then you could throw it up on there.
Okay.
I recently had a girl tell me that she was probably a lesbian,
right,
and that she was getting in a relationship with this chick in June when she flew out to SAR.
Right.
While she was taking my pants off in
yes.
bed.
Good girl. Good fucking. Do you understand?
I was like, what? Like,
well, hey, you know what, babe? It ain't June. It ain't June. That ain't no big deal. I mean, that's the thing too. Is that
I was like, am I a homewrecker? Or like,
no. I mean, there's different rules. I think for most lesbians, you know what I mean, or most girls especially. Like, there's the dick world and there's the vagina world. Like, they love. I mean, we all
the same
do,
way.
but like we I think females are much more sexually fluid. You know what I mean? We're all somewhere on the spectrum, but I think on the whole, females are more like sexually fluid. Like they're more about the personality, like who we are. That's what they love more than anything else. That's what they're attracted to more than anything else. You know what I mean?
I found that so hard because all guys are just fucking soulless demons, as far as I know. I mean, I know myself.
Yeah, it's sexual dirtbags. Like I was talking about it last night, but it was like something at a certain point, something needs to happen to my dick that isn't my hand. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, when the chips are down, something. I don't care where it comes from. I don't care if it's a glory hole. Like there's no glory holes for females. You know what I mean? There's never like, oh, I'm gonna put my puss up against a hole and something happens to it because I'm desperate. Like we men will put their dicks through holes in bathroom stalls just so something happens to it. You know what I mean?
I think
like
you just need to hit the bench more at the gym, honestly. Just let all those fucking meathead hormones get out of you.
Dude, actually,
that's what I do when the Tinder chick won't respond. I'm like, yeah, fuck.
Fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna be hot. No, but I actually, after the gym, I want to fuck more. Like, after I get all fucking bolstered up and shit, fucking, I'm ready to, get out there and tackle some gazelles. Have you ever been, like, shit on for it? Or, like, faced, like, backlash, socially? I mean, it is 2019, but
yeah, it's 2019, and we're in the Bay Area,
right?
So it's like, yeah, I don't feel like there's much of that. I also like, as much as I want to be like, oh, like I'm just open about it, and like nobody discriminates. Like, as with everything in my life, I have people to talk about certain things with.
Right.
It's not
anyone's
like
business at Starbucks or
and I have
wherever.
straight friends where like I don't bring it up because I know that like I'm not gonna get like whether it's like the emotional support or the advice I need from someone like that, and it's nothing against them. Right. It's just like I have different people in my life for different things, and like I feel like I've given myself the most backlash. I have a black belt in beating myself up.
Yeah, me too.
So it's, I don't.
Was it hard to try it out, or was it like? Did you fool around with guys first or girls first?
Girls.
Was it because of how you were beating yourself up? Was there a piece of you like took you a while to get ready for it, or did you like have to be high before you did it, or like?
I feel like I've just surrounded myself. I've found a group of people where I feel open about that part of my life with.
Right.
And like I can adventure that like down that rabbit hole, when
There's a lot of hole talk.
Yeah. When I feel ready or when I want to, and it's not
a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I've basically found a community where it's not a big deal.
Right.
To have thoughts like that,
right.
to want to do things like that, and I don't need to feel ashamed.
Right.
And
right.
I don't need to bring that into every part of my life.
No.
As with rapping, I don't need to show up at Starbucks and be like, hey, before I, while I'm on my 10-minute, like, check out this freestyle. Like, it's just, there's,
right.
Not every single part of my life needs to be in every situation.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of mean going back to, like, no specific part of my character defines who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all part of me,
Right.
And I try to, I'm in a positive mindset right now, and I try to keep that, but, I can go down the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I find like the more, especially this podcast is a big piece of that, where like, like I've said a number of times, there's only like one thing I won't talk about on the podcast. Everything else is an open book. And same thing goes where like I know people who have listened to the podcast who knew me in other aspects, and they knew that it would be, it would be off the fucking hook, which, like they knew I would be a foul man making foul jokes and having fun and shit.
Right.
But they didn't know to the extent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they didn't know. So like having this podcast, and because I have, rappers, and I have musicians, and I have Republicans, and I have Democrats, and I have people from all walks of life and perverts, and there's so many different aspects of my life or aspects of my personality that come out in different fashions and different flavors. Like I'm a different person on this podcast than I was on the last one or on the one before. Like, when I hang out with Jake as an example, have you ever heard any of the Jake episodes?
I don't think so.
I just posted the third one today. I'm a foul, like there's no restricting of any jokes, of any words. And it's not like I restrict jokes or words now, but it doesn't feel natural to say nigger right now. Like it doesn't feel natural to like.
Hey, we're two white guys talking about rap. Like, don't even.
I'm halfway, but the thing is like different aspects of my life, like you were saying. But having this podcast makes me weirdly vulnerable and invulnerable as well. Like where like I'm now wide open and people know a lot more about me, but I'm also protected because I'm not next to them and they can comment. They can yell at me or send me a message, and they do from time to time about like, why did you say that thing about Trump, or why did you da. But on the whole, I'm protected because you can turn it off at any time. You know what I mean? You can not listen to this episode or that episode or whatever. Like it's weirdly vulnerable as well as invulnerable.
Well, and that's kind of what I like about the whole podcast is like I try to like interact with people in the same manner that like, the more people from different walks of life that I interact with, the more I'm going to learn. If I don't meet someone and I'm like, oh shit, you're this way, like, fuck no, you're a bad person, and if I like, if I sit down with all kinds of people, then I can have that person's experience and like build my own opinions and my own lifestyle from it.
Right.
Like I started working at Starbucks, and like I became really close with one of my coworkers who's like a very radical Christian.
Okay.
And at first, like...
It's interesting. I didn't know that... I guess maybe that's good. Like, that maybe... Because I know a bunch of people at that Starbucks.
They're not from California, so...
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, that's interesting because I go to that Starbucks a lot, and I joke around with the people, and I know the people, blah, blah, blah. But it's interesting, that same thing we were talking about not having to share everything. There, you can be a radical Christian and still, you don't have to insufferably stuff it down people's throats.
Exactly. And, like... I was definitely in a place, like, instead of being like, oh, like, fuck you, you believe this, like, I got to, like, connect with this person and, like, listen to their values and, like, gain more insight about their beliefs. Do I agree with them on anything? Fuck no. Like...
Probably there are some things.
A couple things, but, like, I
spirituality.
Yeah, like
higher
that.
power.
That's what
be
we
good to motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
That's what we first started talking about. Is like God, because I'm
Right.
not a Christian or a Catholic, but I have an understanding of God.
Right.
And yeah, and that's what we first started connecting on. And like, as long as I came to our conversations and our times we hung out in a place of like, I don't need to prove my point, and I can just listen to what this person's life experience is. I got to hear all that and like learn from it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and there was times where I was like, yo, like I need to go home and like rant to one of my friends, but most of the time, like, I got to appreciate this person and their values and like learn from it.
Right.
And I feel like if I live my life like that, then I can, understand everybody I interact with, and my understanding gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I become more compassionate too.
I've been surprised by how many people, like, there's one or two that I know who actively message me, almost every episode about like, yeah, I didn't agree with blah, blah, blah. And yet they continue to listen. Like, there's people like where like, maybe it's because they enjoy the suffering. I don't know. Maybe it's because
it's hard being sexy.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they just enjoy my beautiful face. But like, I think maybe it's because my personality is open and wide enough, and they've listened to enough to give me a little leeway about like not have, like, even with Joe Rogan. Like, I love a lot of Joe Rogan's podcasts, but there are some times where I'm like, all right, shut the fuck up, Joe. Like, all right, I get it. But I'm not gonna stop listening to Joe just because I disagree on one or two things, or like. It's interesting to me. It's interesting, and it's actually, it feels really heartening to me. It feels like, oh, like maybe things are not as bad as we're making it out to be these days. You know what I mean? We're like,
right.
maybe people are more understanding and patient and because in social media these days is like so fucking vitriolic. It's so fucking like angry and reactionary and so ready to, like, you say something I disagree with, I'm gonna comment, and I talked about this. This has been a continuous saga. I hope that it's not too bright on the camera. Anyway,
I think it's good.
Yeah, so I talked about this on the podcast. I posted some shit a couple of weeks ago. I do this thing called Controversial Opinion Wednesdays, and
I saw the one yesterday.
It's legit, dude. What was it? It was like, you're not crazy, you're just self-centered. It's true, motherfucker. Crazy feels like, hey, man, back in the 90s, there was a lot of like Matchbox 20 and a lot of like these bands Goo Goo Dolls who would write songs about crazy girls, man. Yeah, crazy beautiful. Kirsten Dunst. Bitch, like, you're just fucking self-centered. You're just an arrogant, angry, fearful little child. Like, you're like crazy.
Crazy is like an adjective to describe someone I don't want to take the time to figure out. Like, if I don't want to take the time to understand like what damaged you, why you're a fucked up, fearful like person, then I'm just gonna be like, you're crazy. Yeah. But if I get to know
to ourselves,
yeah,
instead of ourselves in this box of like, I'm crazy. So now I have a blank check for any shitty behavior, for any arrogant nonsense. I can just be crazy because I'm crazy. This is who I am, man.
Yeah, instead of being like, look, like, I think this is what I'm going through, and like, this is what I can do to like kind of work my way around it.
Right. That takes actual courage. That takes actual maturity. You know what I mean? To be like, all right, this is something I'm doing. God or therapist or whatever, or both, like, help me through this shit. I feel like often, you ever heard that shit, like, if you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. Like, no, change. Like, do things differently than you do them. You know what I mean? There was this one chick I was seeing recently, and I had to stop seeing her because it was just like such a fucking hitting my head against the wall of like, push and pull and this and that and and I was just like, all right, you know what? First things first, I can do better than you. And number two, like, I understand you're cute, but you're an asshole. And number two, like, you can't just like write it off like, oh, this is just who I am. Like, there are some people, especially when they're pretty, who have experienced like such low standards for their behavior. Like, no one raises the bar for them. No one says like, hey, no, you do need, like, if I, as pretty as I am, if I acted shitty, I don't get laid. You know what I mean? But like, if a pretty girl acts shitty, she can still get any dick, any guy to fall in love with her. You know what I mean? Like, there's a different standard for them than there is for us, and it's a difficult thing to be like, no, this is the way I am now telling you to treat me, and you're either going to change, or you're not going to know me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had to kind of do that. And it's not like you can't handle me at my worst. It's like, no, I can. I'm choosing not to because you're unwilling to change.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's like something, I've went on a few dates like since my last relationship. Like I got out of like a 1.5 year, almost 2 year long relationship like last year, like a year ago almost. I got out of it. And like that's something.
That's a long relationship for a teenager, dude. My hat's off to you, man. Fucking, I think I've done the longest I've done in 32 years is 1 year and 9 months. This is my longest relationship. Conservatish podcast at gmail.com. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
I think like I don't know. It's like when I decide that like I want to be in a relationship again, it's going to be like about 2 individuals, me and somebody else, who both have goals. And the goal is not for the relationship. And I like,
okay, I see what you're saying.
And we can help each other and build off each other to get where we want to be. Cause
you want somebody who has their own life. You
right.
want somebody who is working towards something.
And I feel like what happens a lot of times in relationships, especially like with teenagers, is like what becomes the goal of the relation, or the goal of my life is that relationship. You know, and it makes me like a codependent person. And that's why I'm staying out of a relationship right now, because like I have other goals, whether that's like music or to move out or whatever,
Right.
And I don't feel like I can be with someone that's like has their own life and also like wants to like collaborate. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah,
but like collaborate in a way to like build a life together.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't realize how selfish I was until I was talking to one of my friends and they were like, "Oh, like why wouldn't you want to be in a relationship?" And I was like, "'Cause what the fuck does anybody have for me?" And I was like, "Oh, like,
well, no, that's okay." Listen, God damn it, boy, I'm gonna pull the age card. Nigga, have fun. Like, just you're 18. Just fucking run through tramps, dude. It's not a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dude, suck some dick.
Yeah,
and
like,
have some fun. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Hell
like,
yeah.
Lower. There's. I'm fucking 32, and I'm like, part of it is that I'm moving, so I'm like, I want aspects of a relationship for sure. I love intimacy and I love closeness and I love doing stupid, boyfriend girlfriend shit sometimes. But at the same time, I don't have room for it in my life right now because of the move and because of music and because of I'm just constantly fucking busy. So I don't have it. Also, not just time, but also it's a weird situation I'm in because it's like I have room for it emotionally, but in no other aspect of my life. Well, physically, I have room for a relationship sexually as well as emotionally, but not time wise, not mentally, not life. It's a weird thing.
Time, definitely not. I stay really busy, and emotionally, like I put all my emotions into other things in my life, and like I would not be able to give the emotion into a relationship that I would want back.
Okay.
I feel like I would just get myself into like a codependent spot, because I would expect so much of the other person, and I'd be too busy or too like spend too much time thinking about myself,
right,
to give anything to them, and then I'm just gonna be fucking over somebody else,
right? So but as long as you
keep it physical, don't call me. No, I'm kidding.
And there's different aspects. There's different versions of relationships. I enjoy. One or two of the people who listen to this podcast, hi, love you girls. But like, there are certain like relationships that I have that are friendships that also include sex. You know what I mean? Like where from time to time, if they're not in a relationship, we have sex, and we enjoy each other. But I also help her with her when she's dating someone and she has questions about it, or she helps me. She's a good wing girl, whatever. Like. So that's, in a way, I have room for that emotionally and mentally, and, because there's not expectations. You know what I mean? Which some of them sometimes can go way fucking off the chain, but also it makes sense. Like there are expectations in relationship that are natural and what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Yes, you do have to text me back. Yes, you do have to, like, we do have to spend time a couple of times a week. Yes, you do, let me know how your day is going, blah 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 blah. Where it's just like with friendships that include sex, it's not like that. And it's not super superficial either. It's not like, oh, it's just fuck and then fuck you. It's like, no, we have a friendship, we have a relationship, and then from time to time I fuck your stupid brains out. You know what I mean? Like it's all right,
Well, and there's no obligation. That's my that's my other thing with a relationship is like I could not handle it emotionally to have an obligation to somebody, And totally like, I think if I am in a place where I can have a friendship with somebody and it can also be physical too, like, fuck yeah. But I also know I could fuck things up really fast. I feel like if it starts out like physical and also a friendship, then I can keep it that way. Mm-hmm. But if it's a friendship for a while and then I make it physical, like, it
that
gets fucked up.
That changes things.
It's all about how it starts off, How am I starting it off? What's my intent?
Well, I mean, I think one in particular, the one I'm thinking of mostly, is that it actually started out as, well, maybe that is a good point, because it was a friendship, but I also was like hitting her up every couple of months or every couple of years, just like, hey, what's up,
Yeah.
And then she was like, nah, and then eventually it was like, nah, okay, and so we fucked.
Okay,
and actually out of the fucking came a good friendship. You know what I mean? Like we didn't really even know each other very well until we started fucking. So yeah, I don't know. But it also takes a certain type of person. Like it takes a certain type of maturity, a certain type of age, which is I do like a MILF. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll fuck an 18-year-old yesterday. But like,
oh my god,
what?
Oh my god!
Don't fucking judge me, goddammit. No, I love skinny white anything really. But also like just the fucking, when you look at an asshole and like it looks like no shit's ever come out of it. Like I like. You don't all have to bleach, girls, but I'm just saying it's like there's something. I love my podcast. I like that I can go from like the struggle of hip hop
can
to
we do
clean buttholes.
Can we do like maybe we could do like a Conservatish like bleach brand, like an asshole bleach.
Oh my
Holy
god!
Shit, huh?
Abso-fucking-lutely, and you'll do the commercial.
Yeah,
I'll be in the back like, yeah.
Could I bleach my asshole for the commercial?
Yes.
I could be back there.
As long as it's the same color as that fucking hair.
I'm so down. Let's do it.
You use Clorox?
Let's do it.
Oh my god, that's
POMI X Conservatish asshole bleach coming soon. Check it out.
Yeah, dude. I used to work at this gay porn store called Does Your Mother Know in the Castro. They had asshole bleach. They had every kind of lubricant. They had poppers. Do you know what poppers are?
No. What is a popper?
Poppers are a.
I'm interested now.
Well, we can't do it anymore. You and I can't do it because of reasons.
Oh, they're like whippets.
Yeah.
But
it's amyl nitrate, and but like they call it VCR cleaner or something else so that they can sell it legally. They have to change the name, or like nail polish remover with a tiger on it. Like it's but it poppers I guess like relax you, and so it helps your asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't that make it looser though?
Well, I guess yeah.
Well, don't you want it nice and tight?
Well, it's going to be tight because it's a muscle. But if you're more relaxed, I don't know, man. I haven't exactly gotten the details.
Just slam it in there, honestly. I don't know. Like, I may look like a twink, but I like it rough. Like, fuck. I just slam it in there.
God, I love my podcast. Do you understand? Patreon.com/conservative. That's maybe that's why you keep that hair, so that it can be pulled. That's
Hey, I'm not a bottom.
All right.
I'm not a bottom.
All right. Hey. Hey, all right.
That's the whole thing. I mean, honestly, I'm not against anything. You know, like if you got an idea, then like let's
try it out.
Let's write the contract out. Let's find our safe word and let's go for it. But like, you know, I feel like, you know, I like to rock the like fairy twink look. You know, stay skinny, blonde hair, nose piercing.
Really? But you're a Tom?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Interesting. I didn't see. I mean, I maybe that's my gay prejudice. But like, I always figure like, because I know I've been a fucking fag hag since I was a little boy, and so I like
I'm from San Francisco and I'm a top. Wow, what a miracle.
Actually, the manager from Does Your Mother Know was like, you know, if you threw a rock right now, you'd hit 3 bottoms. Like it's like they're like, I think there are only like 4 of you in all of the Bay Area. Like there's so many bottoms. So like that's in high. But often, do you find that's not? I mean, I know you rock the twink look, but like, and that feels genuine to you. But like, often the tops are like they want like a daddy. They want like a fucking, you know, a burly, or like a, you know, not that you're not burly in your own way, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you find that prejudices you, like, or like that people like
definitely
there's
stereotypes for everything,
right?
But there's an
exception,
you know.
Right.
Like, what's the fucking saying? Something along the lines of, like, I don't know. There's a fucking fish for every, I don't know, bait for every fish in the sea.
A wrench for every nut.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. A wrench for every nut. And it's like, you know, there's definitely stereotypes, but
right.
like.
And there's stereotypes in the gay world too. Like there's a lot of motherfuckers.
You think straight men are pieces of shit? Holy shit. I could go on and on. How many times like I walk into the country club and I'm like, dude, like, did I just get fucking molested? Like like, oh my God. Like,
dude, I know that same thing happens.
You think straight men don't have boundaries? You should see how fucking the gay community is. Like, if you want to know about no boundaries, walk into a gay club. Walk into a gay club. Do it. Do it.
No, but that's the thing, is that I'm a daddy, and motherfuckers know that. They can smell it on me. And when they, like, there is a lot of, like, handsiness, and I don't mind it. You know, hey, it fills up my ego. I don't care. You can fucking Me Too me. But, like, you know, because I'm strong enough to push a motherfucker so off when it's I'm serious.
Said Me Too me.
You can, I don't mind a little ass grab from time to time. Whatever. Do what you do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because I know where my dick is going, and it's fine. Actually, one time I let I let someone who worked at Does Your Mother Know, I let him touch my dick a little bit, just over the pants. It was only that was probably my most recent. When was that? It must have been like 2013, I think. But yeah, I won't say exactly the position, but I let the guy, because I was interested in, maybe I was like, okay, if it's gonna be free and easy, like, and I don't have to work, and I don't have to look at his dick, like, fine, all right, whatever, you know, it happens, you know. Yeah, but like, I don't mind it that much. But you're right, yeah, gay guys, and that's the thing too. I've talked about.
I think that's why, like, you know, I think like the boundary thing affects me is because of like my look on the outside.
Okay.
You know, and that's immediately like,
so it affects you negatively.
Yeah, because people see that, you know, and they're like, "Oh, like you want this way," and like, yeah, they're like fucking sharks.
I see. Okay.
You know, without any consideration of like,
I see.
Yo, like, I'm interested in you. But
you need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, what are you looking for right now?
Right.
I would appreciate the fuck out of that if somebody was like, you know, I think you're really, really attractive. What are you looking for? You know?
Yeah. No,
Not,
I get that.
You know, in a better way. Like,
there
that's
is some,
kinda,
right? No, for sure. But there is some nuance to it. I mean, like, often in the Me Too days these days, there's this idea of consent that changes, and a lot of these insecure females are coming from a place of like, well, we need to write a fucking contract before we fuck.
Right.
And like, there's nuance to it where, like, naturally, not from society, it's not society's fault, but naturally, girls just want us to make a move. It may be wanted, it may not be wanted, it may be the wrong context, but like, if I'm on a date and it's going well, and I'm feeling it, like I'm feeling a vibe. Even one couple of like a month or two ago, I remember like I was on this date. It's going well. I'm feeling it, blah, blah, blah. And then towards the end of the, like, I go in for a kiss, and she, like, moves her head. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. And so we keep talking. And then I go in for a kiss again, and then we did kiss, and we did make out for a little bit. So, like, if I hadn't made the move and I just first was like, I think you're a blah, blah, if I took all of the body language out of it, if I took all of the, it wouldn't be... there's something sexy about just the nature of it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, but there are,
and I think it's about being in touch with the other way the person feels. Without, and that doesn't have to come with talking. Right. And I think that's what you're talking about. You're at the date and you're feeling it, and you feel the energy, and you know what's going on, and like, yeah, no, I don't think there needs to be a contract either. Right. I think it's about.
Here, let me pause this real quick because it always resets, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so you feel like it's more about, so like, there's a way to do it that isn't.
Yeah, like just being in touch with the way the other person feels, and not just going in like a fucking animal and just being like, this is what I want,
I think that goes towards desperation, like and or how horny you are or whatever.
When I also throw it out, like if I'm in the bedroom with somebody, I throw it out like, please tell me if I make you uncomfortable. Because I want them to feel safe no matter what, like that, like if I do something that you don't like I'm not going to be butthurt if you're like, stop, like.
Right, but I think we can even do that without doing it. We can even do that without words either. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like if I'm in a mode, if I'm present, because there's been even a time recently where I was not present and I was in my head, and she and I had already hooked up a couple of times. It's not a big deal. I didn't rape nobody or whatever. But like, we're fooling around, and then we're having sex, and then I won't go into details, but there was and not to protect me, but there was a line that I thought we had already crossed, and then I was in my head. I wasn't paying enough physical attention, like in the present moment for her, and I kind of crossed the line a little bit, and it wasn't bad. We talked about it, and we're fine, and we've hooked up since then. It's not a big deal, but it was the type of thing where like, I wasn't present in the moment. I wasn't paying attention to her energy. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't in my body, letting her be in her body. I was in my head, she was in her head, and it was just kind of a weird little clusterfuck, which is natural, and there has to be room for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and I think like the fact that you talked about it and you were able to discuss it, and it was just like an open topic, is the most important part. Is if something does come up, like, let's lay it out on the table.
Right.
Like, how did you, because I think a lot of times, especially sex, it can be such like this topic, like, oh, we can't talk about it. Like, fuck no, like, let's lay it out on the table, like,
Right. But yeah, that's interesting. So do you feel like when you go into gay bars or clubs and there's some handsy shit, is there ever a time where you feel like, hey, where you have to like tell somebody that you're a top, like, or you have to be like, hey, by the way, like whatever you're doing right now, like how does it?
It's I'll just remove myself from the situation, Okay. Because that's not a very attractive quality, Yeah. That's not, if somebody's like all over me and like I'm not into them. Like, I have nothing to say to them because that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I guess it's about just proving me, what is it? Fucking getting myself out of the situation.
Okay. Yeah, removing yourself.
Removing myself from what's going on, and like knowing that, and it's also about like being, not getting taken advantage of in any way. It's about being grounded in myself. I'm going into this situation. What do I want out of this situation? Like, what do I want? What am I going in for? Who am I? What are my intentions?
Right.
And then I have no problem leaving or expressing what I want from any situation.
Right. Has it been harder after you got sober? Or maybe has it been, I mean, maybe it's been easier to like know where your line is.
I got sober like right around the same time I got out of my last relationship. So that's kind of like, it's been a learning process with getting sober.
Right.
More or less. Which has been like a cool thing because it's like a new life I'm starting, but also it's like I'm already fucked up about a bunch of other things in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to handle this too, but I mean,
Well, you don't.
it's better.
Not by yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's better to handle, you know, like I said, I have so many good damn people in my life and like just people that are supportive about everything and like, you know, I feel loved. I feel like I have people I can communicate with.
Right.
I have people I relate to. So, you know, there's no problems. As long as I stay out of my fucking head. My head tells me there's problems all the time.
God damn it, that's hard. Yeah, I've been talking about this a lot, but like with things that are so good, there tends to be, when things are good, I feel like as an alcoholic, as a recovered alcoholic, like there's something in my mind where it's like I have to have something to play with mentally. And either I'm going to play with a problem or I'm going to make a problem so that I can play with it. You know what I mean? And my mind has to be distracted with either service to someone else or music or fucking or something. Like it has to be distracted with something. And if it's not distracted with something, I will create a problem. I will manufacture misery so that I can worry about the problem, so that I can have something mentally to play with. It's a fucking strange.
So I'm so glad you said you're a recovered alcoholic because I didn't know like how in like
well,
how
yeah,
in depth
we don't.
to that subject.
You know, there are some things we don't say, whatever. But yeah. I talk about it on them.
But yeah, I think. Like, I had an experience with that the other day. I was like, I got no fucking material to write about, and I feel like I need to write a song. So I went over to this chick's house. And you know, I came back on Caltrain, and I was like, it's my time. Put my headphones in, put the instrumental on. I was like, yes, dude. I made
my dick sweat.
I made another song, dude. And it was like, it really came out. I mean, the chorus part, it'll come out in like probably a couple months.
Why don't you write about not fucking? Like you can write about anything. You don't have to. You don't have to get that. But no, hey,
the chorus,
I will never disparage a man for getting some, whatever it is. But anyway,
yeah, the chorus turned out to be something along the lines of, "Give me something to think about. Give me something to think about. Real life too boring. Humble me, 'cause I've been feeling too important." Yeah. And it'll never be enough if I just want a little more than that. Trying to stay high, your best efforts keep me soaring.
Okay.
So it was like, you know, it's like I went into the situation like my life is so fucking boring, and like I don't care if this fucks with my emotions and fucks with my mental state.
Something will happen.
But something will happen, you know. And it was funny,
I respect
like
that.
because my friends were calling me. They were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, like I'm just trying to get my heart broke so I can write another song real quick." And then,
did she break your heart?
I don't know, like, if I'm going to swallow my pride enough to say that, but I feel like it definitely brought up some emotions I haven't dealt with in a minute.
Yeah, I feel that. So I guess it had been a few months since you had some sex sober, or?
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, I spent the night at her house, and I hadn't, like, spent the night and, like, done the whole, like, cuddle, like, spoon, like...
I love that shit.
Yeah, right? That's fuck, dude. I love that shit, too. And... like,
I don't feel like man, because apparently like you're not supposed to like that shit if you're like just running through tramps or whatever. But like I enjoy even with girls I'm never gonna fuck again. I enjoy the cuddling part. I enjoy the fucking petting her head because I'm a good goddamn daddy. You know what I mean? Like I'm a fucking dominant. I don't feel like a dominant is just like slap you in the face, choke you up against the wall, fuck you, and then that's it. Like I feel like it's more all encompassing. You know what I mean? Like I like the
whole enchilada.
Down. Yeah, I like driving the fucking car up and then slowing it down and then driving it up and then aftercare, if you will. You know what I mean? I like all aspects of that shit. I adore that shit.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like just my recent experience is just spending the night at someone's house and having that like same kind of like intimate connection, even if it was just for like a night, brought up a lot of my last relationship and reminded me where I'm at with it. Right. And I was like, oh fuck.
Right.
Like,
were you if you don't mind sharing, were you cuddling with her also imagining cuddling with the other girl?
No.
I've done that
No,
before.
it was just like one time I got head from this chick and I was like honestly thinking about a guy the whole time and I was like fuck.
Was it because she wasn't?
No, it was good head.
Okay.
I
Was
just
she
like,
not attractive, or
no, she's.
you just wanted to think about something else?
Yeah, I
Hey,
don't know.
listen,
Like,
I
was-
respect it. I respect it. You can't. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. Don't fuck with the zone. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Don't judge yourself.
Yeah, and I still enjoyed it,
Right.
and I still had pleasant thoughts about somebody else.
Yes.
And, like, but I feel.
I mean, were you in a relationship with this chick, or you were just? It was
no,
just a
no, it
one-off?
was just.
Okay, well then, yeah, whatever,
Whatever, right?
Even if you're in a relationship, that makes more sense too, because it's like you want to like you've been with this vagina before, like you've been with you've been in this mouth before, so sometimes it's fun to think about. Oh, imagine if this was someone else's mouth.
Fuck a person or a woman. It's just a vagina or a mouth, right? Quote of the
love
year,
you, girls.
Quote of
We
the
love you,
year,
girls.
from
No, it's
Pete
fine.
Feliciano.
It's fine. We love you, but yeah, I don't know. It's
Dude,
man.
relationships and sexual relationships and like friends with benefits and like getting over relationships, getting into relationships, it's all like it's all so interesting and so
Right.
confusing, and that's why I'm so about like lay it out on the table,
Right.
One of my best friends is like so open about their sex life, and it's like I love that shit because there's no shame. There doesn't have to be shame. Open about how they feel about their ex, like it's just let's talk about it.
Is it a girl or a guy?
Girl.
Give her my email. We'll take we'll take care of her. Well, as long as she's 18. I gotta be careful going to these all like even Gilman. Gilman's all ages. Like you got to be careful not to. Well, you don't have to because you're 18.
There's a lot of young girls that dress like
Yes.
not young.
Yeah, I'm fully aware.
I'm like,
Fucking
fuck,
bastards.
like that's fucked up. That's not good. You need to put on a Disney princess dress and dance
Hey,
around
that
your
fits-
room.
That fits into some fantasies. Don't get
Shut up. No.
A little age play never hurt nobody.
This is fucked up.
I love having a podcast. Anyway.
That's a sick shirt.
Thank you.
The
You ever
The Joker's my favorite superhero.
No, this isn't the Joker.
What the fuck?
This is David Lynch. A David Lynch movie called Wild at Heart. It's my favorite movie.
Dude, this looks like the Jared Leto Joker.
No, yeah, it's Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe as Bobby Peru, one of the best movies of all fucking time. In my opinion, better than Blue Velvet. But have you ever seen Blue Velvet?
I don't watch any movies, no.
Son, Wild at Heart. If I had still had the DVD, where's my fucking DVD? Probably left it at some girl's house. God damn it. No, I think I actually may have it in the. Do you watch DVDs? Nobody watches DVDs anymore.
I have a DVD player at my house. Well, I can watch it on my Xbox.
All right, well, I think if I have it, I'll let you borrow it. It's my favorite movie. David Lynch is a really fucked up director. It's got Laura Dern, like 80s Laura. I would fuck Laura Dern now, no goddamn issue. But like 80s Laura, like early 90s Laura Dern, son. Do you know who Laura Dern is?
No.
She's the chick from Jurassic Park, the blonde.
Oh, okay.
Son.
All right.
Ugh, but this is like early 90s. Oh, God. Sorry. I just want to bite some white skin. I like white girls. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like black chicks or light
like
skin.
black chicks?
Yeah, light skin chicks.
Interesting. All right. What about guys?
Oh my god, it'd be so funny if she ever stumbled across this. But there's this girl like I crushed on all the way through elementary school and like into middle school, and she is this beautiful Native American chick.
Okay.
And like not like super dark skin, but like I don't know, just beautiful light skinned girl. She walked into Starbucks the other day, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have a good high school rep, so like I'm trying to like be a new person. But a lot of people are like, "Hey, like what's up your nose, Liam?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm a barista." It's all like,
I'm sober now. I'm sorry. Did I steal anything for you? I'm sorry.
yeah, right.
Did you?
No,
What about guys? What's your preference?
I like black guys too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you like that goddamn mocha. Good for you.
Exactly.
Good for you.
Black guys are so fucking sexy. Holy shit. And I hope I don't get my ass beat if I make it in the rap game. Like,
Why? No, absolutely not. No. I mean, there's still some like, oh, you're down with blah blah blah, but not really. Especially in the Bay, or like in the underground scene, or the Bay Area scene. Like, no, dude, it's not a fucking issue. I mean, like,
Right.
if every song was about sucking dick, like, it would be some guys would get uncomfortable at the show.
I don't
but
even-
like, you know, nobody gives a shit. Nobody really gives a fuck.
yeah, I feel it. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I have better shit to talk about in my music than like my sexual encounters. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I do, but it always relates to like a little bit of like a deeper topic. I feel like.
Sure.
Like, it's always about like something, you know, something to do with like having to validate myself through sex, like, or, you know,
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot.
I
of
think it's
fucked up
fun to
shit.
just do like like that one about the barely legal blonde. Like, I think it's fun to, from time to time, to just do a show or do a song about that's just for vulgarity's sake. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and like, because I have songs that are like about death and like, bad rappers, and like I have, but like from time to time, just to do a nasty, like, here's this fun. There's this Jefferson Berge, who's been on the show a couple of times. Great musician, fucking hilarious motherfucker, and he'll just write a song. Like, he'll have some serious songs, but like, a song about a love doll, or a song about fisting, or like, I think it's fun to do that. Like,
I think that's super good too, like all encompassing. I've definitely wrote like a lot of like joke verses, like where I'm just talking about like funny shit, like just what's ever on my mind. And I'm actually kind of looking at, because I've been thinking about like social media promotion. Like, everybody, that's how all promotion is done, is social media.
Right.
And I'm like, what do I need to do like on my social media to keep it interesting? Like, this podcast is sick for you because it's something people can rely on weekly or twice a week, or however many times you choose to do it.
Every Monday and Thursday.
Yeah, so it's something to like, oh shit, what's going on with Pete this Thursday? Like, and I've been thinking about that, and I think I'm gonna try to do like just like weekly bars, like one day a week, like throw up like a minute video, because I have the lyrical content for it,
Right?
And it'll just be whatever the fuck I want to rap about.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be about something serious. It doesn't have to be politically correct or respectful. Like, it can just be me on a beat that I think it's cool, just going off, and like I feel like it'll keep the audience entertained. And like, something I was thinking about that I was asking my coworkers is, why do you follow people on social media that you don't know personally? What attracts you to that? Like, is it their aesthetic or their Instagram? Is it seeing their life and like a luxury lifestyle? Is it, like?
I mean, I guess it depends on the content. Like, when you have a certain amount of content, it fleshes out a character or a personality that you will give. You know what I mean? Like, something that Gary Shandling was talking about on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. He was talking about, when you first saw Robin Williams do stand-up, do you remember the words he said? It's like, well, no. But you remember the way he made you feel. You remember, who he was, the character, or whatever you want to call it. And so the emotions that he gave you. And so it gave you interest to follow him and see what else he said, or what other jokes, or what other content, or what other movies, or what else, like, because you fleshed out this personality and it was interesting to you as a personality. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it all feeds that, maybe. And sometimes it's just delicious asses, on
Yeah.
Instagram. Hey, dude, fucking,
Dude,
my Twitter is like I barely use my Twitter, but like, my Twitter, who I follow is just like, Donald Trump, a comedian, porn. Donald Trump, a comedian, porn. Just out of nowhere, I'll be scrolling, because on Instagram you just see like an ass, but like, I'll be scrolling through like, oh, very serious topic. Here's a hot take. Oh, there's a dick going in an asshole. Interesting. You know what I mean? It's a surprising,
Yeah, social media is a funny thing.
Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, down to wrap up.
Yeah.
I gotta piss, and I think I want to go to the gym before I have work and shit. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe I should go to the gym.
You probably should.
John.
So where can people find your music, and how do they spell your name?
All right, POMI is POMI. It stands for Product of My Insanity. And you can find, I'm on Instagram under POMI Music, on Twitter under POMI Music, and I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page is just POMI.
Wait, J-U-S-T-I.
No, POMI.
Got
There
it.
we go. And yeah, I'm on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. I'm doing the last production, like mixing and mastering on my EP right now. So should be looking at like another month until it comes out.
Cool.
And hopefully some shows and all that.
Very cool.
But it'll be up on my social media, and you could find the 2 songs I have out on Apple Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
Badass.
Yes, sir.
You can follow me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. Support this podcast and all of my musical endeavors at patreon.com/conservatish. Email me your hate at conservatishpodcast@gmail.com or your titty pictures. And that's it. This will be out Monday, and I'll send you the link and stuff, and we'll talk about it.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody. Thank you again, POMI, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Talk about fucking poppers and music.
Bleached assholes.
Exactly.